So, if you're new to the channel, I like making Balrogs, which is why I jumped at the chance to make another one with Joe from Windrush Wargamers.
We are going to be making Balrogs, so specifically ones based on artwork that we like. So I guess let's talk about what artwork we chose. So do you want to go first? What artwork you picked?
So my plan for the Balrog, because I've made other Balrogs and they've been a bit more, it's like reptilian is what most of them kind of look like, or animalistic at least, got some animal features. But I want to go for like a humanoid kind of one. So I just Googled Balrog humanoid and was like, scroll down, and I saw this one from DeviantArt by an artist called Viking King called The Haste of the Balrogs. And I guess in editing we can show you it.
Yes.
Like, he's got 3 of them running. So I don't think I'll be able to get the pose of running, but they won't be so hasty.
That's all right. The somewhat haste of the Balrogs, but
yeah. Somewhat haste.
What model do you think you're going to use? What's in your sights?
Well, I had a little look on Mears Miniatures because I've already used Mears before. Example, since the last collab we did, he fell off the desk.
Oh no!
And his base fell off. So instead of going for the Inferno range, which is a great Balrog conversion when to go Inferno range, I went to the deals part of it. See if I could save some money, and just because I was going to go for humanoid, so it's kind of like I was looking for maybe like a Cyclops, a Minotaur, a giant, something where I kind of add on to it or mostly take away. But what I ended up finding was they are called a Shard Beast Warrior. So they're like humanoid shapes with rocky spikes coming out of their backs and on their arms. And there's 3 poses of them. I don't know if I think they had slightly different configurations of holding 2 rocks, holding a rock and a different kind of rock. But the one that I've got, he's literally standing with a rock in his hand like that. And it's perfect to do the whip for.
Oh, nice.
A Balrog.
On this model, the furthest removed from a Balrog was the head, so I started there. Started with the obvious things to go, with snipping away at the teeth, then cutting off his rocky mandibles. Then I continued to make some progressively more irreversible decisions to the head. Cutting off the eyebrows, and then the eyes. Cutting off what remained of the mouth, and then reduced the height of the giant 5 head he was rocking till I was left with a skull to be added to later. Onto the body, and reducing the rockiness of the rock monster. Black Mod Podge and sand mix is what I used on my previous Balrog, this time adding a bit more sand to make it less runny but still spreadable. Doing a first splodging, mostly all over, but still leaving room for me to be able to hold it. Then once that was dry, I can go all over. I also decided to cut off some stragglers of rock spikes on the lower leg and around the shoulders to shore up the areas of future flame. As he is a shard beast, I looked for ways to reduce the rockiness of the spikes to smooth them out into curls and wisps of flame. It was to a limited or non-existent success, but here is that section anyway. The tools for this future failure are files and knives and my Dremel.
Let's see if it works with the generator. Hell yeah.
Look at me being safe. Who'd afford it?
Oh yeah, I've got a mask on. I don't think that works. Bit too extreme, I think. Bit too extreme. That didn't go very well.
So yeah, none of those really worked. The sanding, the cutting, just made it more angular and rocky in some cases. I did try boiling water to loosen the resin, which it did, but only slightly, so I just left it as it was. Back to the head, and forming my own lower jaw out of green stuff.
Yeah, that's decent.
And hopefully I can combine it with some toys because I need some horns. So I'm hoping some dinosaurs can kind of come into play here
Oh,
and just be like Sid from Toy Story.
Yeah, just sit there.
And probably do conversions.
Yeah. No, that's definitely.
Play nice.
Yeah.
As I said, I got some dinosaurs. The bipedal chap? His horns were on the thicker side, so I went with the Triceratops. Snipping off a horn and then sharpening the child-safe nub into a point. But like other attempts at something in this project, this too failed. The plastic toys were too rigid, and I needed horns with a curve, so I went to make my own with green stuff. This too was abandoned, and after a string of horn failures, I skipped ahead and did the eyes. Instead of drilling the eye sockets, I put 2 green stuff blobs on and surrounded it with my Shadow Balrog mix. To avoid more horn failures, I got my Citadel skulls out. It wasn't going to be exactly like the horns in the art, not as thick or curvy, but it will certainly do the trick. With a mixture of snipping, green stuff, super glue, Mod Podge mix, and multiple attempts, the horns will eventually be attached. Before snipping away at the rock shard in his hand, I did some pruning of some other smaller spikes. Reducing the giant spike into a manageable whip handle. I then painted all my flamey parts with a white undercoat so it was ready. And now it's time to make a whip bow. Using a few metal wires wound together, then covered with strips of aluminium tape, and aluminum if you want to say it incorrectly. Onto painting, and like the other flames doing a white undercoat, instead of painting it on like the rest, I thought I'd see how much paint is left after all the Army of the Dead I painted previously. Turns out, just enough. Then it's Orange Flames time. Once the orange base layer was done, I added a yellow in the hotter parts. Pretty randomly though, you don't really have to think about it, just put it near the bottom. The larger yellow areas from the art are the eyes and the fiery mouth, so I started there. This is the only yellow I have and its coverage isn't great, so a good old dip in the pot and straight on, more or less. Spritz and splashes on the bottoms of the fiery points, here and there and everywhere, and on the whip. And because I had it and haven't used it yet, I went all over the flames with Casanora Yellow Shade. I didn't want to trim the handle down too much, so I'm thickening the whip with hot glue. It got pretty messy, and I rinsed and repeated taking bits off and reapplying and thickening it up or filling where needed. Importantly, having it thick enough near the bottom to match up with the handle. And then, to make my painting the whip previously pointless, I painted orange all over and repeated my flame painting process from before. Because it's wire and dry glue, there is still some movement to make adjustments, but too much did start to break it apart a little, so I soon sorted out a position and glued it in. To finish off the flames, some smoky tips all over with some black. Checking my work so far, I did some touch-ups with some orange around the eyes and mouth and added more fiery cracks. So with him all done, it was time to base him. Straight from Miss Miniatures, he comes on an 80mm base, but the Balrog is 60mm. Luckily, only the tips of his toes overhang, and if a cave troll can do it, so can my Balrog. He's not the most stable on his feet, so the one foot which could get the most contact was super glued and the other I smudged into some Mod Podge mix, which will dry solid and secure his foot nicely. He did still have some stability issues during the drying phase.
I bid you stand!
While it was there, I finished off the base with more Mod Podge sand mix and waited for it to dry. When it was dry, I thought I'd leave it as it was, like it was some scorched earth. Then all that was left was a black base rim. There we are. Before the final montage shots though, a big thank you to Joe again from Windrush Wargamers for this Balrog conversion opportunity. I say this after every Balrog I make, but this one is my favourite. Doing it based off the artwork has been a really interesting process. It's restrictive, yet because it's never going to be exact, it's also freeing with the interpretation of how we recreate it. So definitely go check out his Balrog on his channel. What I do know is that he's a much better Cid than me.
That is Cid. You mean that happy child?
That ain't no happy child. He tortures toys just for fun.
And now for the montage shots. Thanks for watching. I'm very tempted to buy more of these shard beasts and make an army of Balrogs. But for now, like the video down below, helps a lot. Leave a comment, let me know what you think. And of course, and as always, subscribe. And if you like what I'm doing here, if you like the channel, share it with any fellow hobbits or those who dwell in Middle Earth. See you on the next one.
It's quite cool.